Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy, and I'm here to start the FanFiction Readathon. Now, happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, July 12th. It's just about 8 p.m. So I did start the readathon on Monday. That was the first day of the readathon. I will talk about what I picked up in a little bit. Yesterday, I did not read anything. I read one chapter of the contemporary book I still have going in ebook form. But we've been in the mid to high 90s the last few days. And a lot of people are like, it's summer. Let's go out and do things. And I'm like, it's summer. It's over 80 degrees. I want to go home and die. I can't. I joke more often than not about moving to Canada and Alaska, and every summer I just feel like I joke about it more and more, and it becomes slightly less of a joke. I mean, I can't handle the heat. I love Colorado, and I know that we don't get near as bad as other people, but nothing takes it out of me like heat. Yesterday I came home and I sat in my air-conditioned apartment and I laid on the couch and I watched YouTube until I got up and went to bed because I could not function to do anything productive in my life. I couldn't. I watched Claim to Fame, and I did make notes on my spreadsheet about Claim to Fame. That was as productive as I got. But it's Wednesday. I'm filming this. I just finished eating dinner and watching the new episode of Secret Invasion because I am a geek and a nerd, and so I am waiting for my Marvel podcast that I listen to drop. They usually drop mid to late evening. When it's a Marvel TV show, they drop the episode talking about that week's episode. So I should see a notification. Hey, look, literally as we're saying this, I just got a notification that the episode dropped. Okay, so I will be listening to that, but then I will be picking back up my fan fiction. So there's all of that. If you haven't seen my TBR, I'll pop it up here. Just a quick rundown. I have some fanfics. I had 7 fics on my Kindle that I was interested in of varying lengths. But my number one goal is to finish Manacled by Senlin Yu. I started this during the first round of the FanFiction Readathon back in November of 2022. And I got 20% in. So I was ready to start chapter 20 when I put it down. And I just got sucked into, I don't know what happened. I know what happened. I took a little bit of a break to do some book club books to finish out the month of November. And then Christmas hit, and I did Vlogmas, and I read a Christmas novella every single day and posted a video about it. And then in January, I moved to my new place, and it just hasn't. I keep thinking I need to pick back up Manacled. I need to pick back up Manacled, but my mood has been taking me elsewhere. So this was the perfect time. My goal is to read as much of Manacled as I can, which so far hasn't been happening. But it's fine. It's fine. So I did, however, when I picked this up Monday night, after I watched dinner after I ate dinner, I don't think I even watched anything. I think I just ate dinner. I picked this back up. Now, I will say, because it had been a little bit of time, I did pick, I'm listening to the audio of this on Spotify. It's available via podcast. I will have both the original AO3 link down below, as well as the podcast on Spotify. I re-listened to chapter 19 just to kind of refresh myself of where we were, what was going on, the more minor details. And then I move forward from there. I do have to say what's really nice is, at least on my mobile apps, Spotify now has a speed something up. I don't know if it was just me that didn't have that before. I tried listening to it to my Spotify thing that's on my Android TV device, but that doesn't have the speed up podcasts, but my iPad and my phone does have that option. So I put it on my iPad, and then my air conditioner is going, so I put on my headphones. So that was nice. I had been listening to it at 1.5 speed. So I re-listened to chapter 19, and then I moved forward. According to my Kindle, I went from 20% to 25%, but I did, like I mentioned, reread chapter 19. So I don't know how to, okay. I'm not going to recap too much on what happened in the previous 20%. So if you haven't, I recommend checking out my last year's, my first fanfiction reading vlog, because I don't want to really try to rack my brain to think back on the first 20% of this, but we're just going to talk about what I'm reading out and moving forward. So, I also will say, I knew that there was parts-ish to Manacled, and I believe I have finished the first part, which is perfect. It was a really good way to stop Monday night. So oh, that's right. Yeah. Chapter 19, the one I re-listened to was where Hermione is attacked and sexually assaulted by Montague, if I remember correctly, who is another one of the Death Eaters, and who is Astoria's, I don't know, F-buddy person that she decided to have a tryst with because Malfoy just ignores her. And then, so we kind of had a little bit of dealing. So that was what I reread in chapter 19. That was like the big thing that happened there. Then we moved forward, and Hermione still isn't getting pregnant. And then the lady kind of tricks her into taking like aphrodisiac potions. And then that, like, she was able to compartmentalize what was happening to her and the situation she is, especially when it came to the more sexual aspects of her being forced basically to be pregnant by Malfoy, because that's who Voldemort basically assigned her to. But with the aphrodisiac, it made her more aware of her body and her body's needs during that physical activity, and she ended up enjoying the activity, and it was really kind of hard. It was a hard moment to read. So if you are sensitive to anything like that, I don't know if this is something that you should pick up, because it is, I mean, it's pretty dark. And it's emotionally hard to read. And I say that for me because I connect very deeply emotionally with characters that I read. I don't know if I quite would consider myself a full empath, but I definitely am very easily, this probably is a bad thing, but my emotions are very easily affected by others, and by myself, and by books I read. And that's a big reason why I don't really read angsty books, is because they just make me cry. And even if I don't feel sad for myself, I feel so sad for these characters, or I feel so like pent up for these characters, that I wreck myself. And I don't consider it like being triggered, but it's a thing. So anyway, it was tough to read, just because my heart hurt so bad for Hermione, and I just couldn't imagine being in a place where your mind is just telling you, no, you are being, raped, and you're in the situation that you really don't want to be, but your body is physically enjoying what's happening, partly because of being basically drugged. And that was, I think, harder to read than the previous instances where he just bent her over, took care of the deed, and moved, and then they both moved on with their lives, because they both were kind of able to compartmentalize the situation. But, you know, the goal is to get her pregnant. So after a couple chapters, she's now pregnant. And I don't know if she's going into a depressive cycle because she knows what potentially is going to happen with this baby, or she's not sure what's going to happen with her moving forward. It just seemed like a lot of stress and uncertainty and just a lot going on in her head now that she is pregnant. And she's like losing weight really bad. But then I also heard, because she's very powerful magically and Malfoy's really powerful magically, that, you know, magical pregnancies can be really hard on a person. And being that she is half human. And then I think there was a mention that her mother had a hard time carrying Hermione. So it could be genetics as well, which totally get that. Oh, really? So, yeah. She's like losing weight or something crazy. And we do actually get a moment where she is like in the process of trying to kill herself. It shouldn't be possible with the compulsions that she's on, but she inadvertently finds a way around it. She like doesn't mean to find a way around it. Like, it's not a thought in her head. And then Malfoy points out that she found a way around it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I guess I did. So she's pregnant and she's very sick and there's things going on. And it seems like Malfoy's kind of falling for her. Or Malfoy might not be what we see, what he seems. So who knows what's going on with that situation. But we've been all in for, I think, everything I read this time, and I want to say almost everything in the first 20%, if not all, is from Hermione's perspective. So I don't think we get Malfoy's POV, maybe later on. But the reason why I think I'm at part 2, so to speak, is because the next chapter I have wasn't called chapter 26, but flashback 1. So we've got, let's see what this says. 38 chapters of flashback. And then we have the part 3, so to speak. And that is chapter 64 through chapter 74. And then there's 3 epilogues and an afterword. So, yeah, I feel happy that I finished part 1. I wasn't looking at the chapters beforehand. And then in the Spotify playlist, they're just like chapter 1, 2, 3. So chapter 56 is 26-ish, maybe more, maybe flashback 31. I don't know. I figured it out last night. I don't remember what it is, but it should take me through half, if not most, of the flashback chapters, and then I will have to switch to ebook. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what this flashback is. I do remember the beginning of it, Monday night, started with 3 years earlier. So I'm intrigued to kind of see, because we have been getting like snippets of what's going on with Hermione and what she remembers from the war and her training, her medical training. Oh my God, there was this horrendous scene where Astoria like popped her eyeball out of her head, and I was like sitting there like cringing because eyeball stuff and feet things I cannot handle. Like, it's snakes, eyeball things, and don't touch me with your feet, and I don't want to touch your feet. Like, those are like my 3 big ick things. So yeah. I don't even know where I was going, but I said 3 years earlier. So I'm intrigued to kind of see what happened and to really kind of get the information of what Sun Lin Yu says happened in this great war that's different from where the original series went. So I'm definitely intrigued, and I'm excited to kind of go back and really dig into and learn more information, because I feel like we haven't really, it's been focusing really heavily on Hermione and her struggles. of this like situation that she's been put in. And so I'm definitely like ready to kind of break away from that for a little bit and do more world building and just more understanding and almost like truth seeking and truth finding for what happened in the world, to kind of really understand how we got to where we got to at the beginning of the fanfic. So I'm definitely intrigued, and it didn't take me long. Like, I reread chapter 19 and I was like, oh yeah, this is horrendous. And then we started chapter 20 and it didn't take me long to get like fully back hooked into it. So if it wasn't so freaking hot yesterday, I would have read more. But if you also already have seen my TBR, I mentioned that I planned on doing like crafting and stuff while I'm listening to the audiobook to kind of help push me to both be productive in what I've been needing to do craft-wise, because I have some presents I have to finish up. And then maybe I'll start doing prepping for this Christmas's presents. And then I've just been wanting to do some crafting in general anyway. But I am working on a sweater for my sister. Not my sister, my brother's girlfriend. So, I mean, at this point, they're basically common law married. So she's basically my sister-in-law at this point. But I had most of this square done. So this is a super simple pattern. If you've seen my previous weekly vlogs, I've made another one of these a couple months ago, and it's super simple. It's 2 squares for the body piece. Then you do really cool, really big flared bell sleeves, and then so you do the sleeves and then you put it all together and you sew it all up, and then you just do the sides and down the sleeves, and it's super simple. It's kind of a boat neck, and it's one of my favorite sweater patterns that I've made. Plus I love that it's so easy. So especially the body parts, it's just like once you get your chain set, it's just half doubles and just keep track of your rows. So I had 20 something rows left in this. This one is a size medium, so it's 56 rows tall. So I think I had like 20, maybe it was like 15 rows left. So I finished the first body, and then I started the second body, and I got a good chunk in. And I like to keep track. So this is 30, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is 38 rows. So I have less than 20 rows left to finish this one. And then I have sleeves. So my goal of also at the very least finishing this sweater during this fanfic readathon is making some good headway. So this is my plan for the rest of the night. I'm going to give myself till like 8:30 to do other random miscellaneous things around the house. And clean up and stuff, and then I have to feed the kitty at 8:30 because that's when she gets her medicine. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to listen to Manacled, and I'm going to work on this. Hopefully I'll finish the square tonight. It depends on, because it's another hot day, my bedtime, like my body just wants to go to bed at like 9 o'clock when it's hot like this, because my body's like, we're over it, time for bed. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to make some headway both in Manacled finally and in crocheting. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Not too much for this being the 3rd day of the readathon. But you know what? I'm okay. I went into this not having too high of expectations for myself. I did make a bingo board, but I'm not really going to push it. My goal is to get through as much as I can of Manacled. If I don't finish it, I might still try to push through it for the end of July, but otherwise I might just set it aside and try to pick at it, and maybe I'll give myself like 2 chapters a week, or I'll figure out a plan once we get. But this is what I'm going to be reading through Sunday. So we will see. Maybe I can get through a big chunk of this weekend, but who knows? If I'm through the audiobook at that point and I have to like sit down and read it physically, maybe it'll go a little bit quicker. So we'll see what happens. But thank you, Spotify, for adding a speeding up podcast. That's been super helpful. I've been definitely able to get through it a little bit easier, because sometimes the podcast is super slow for my listening speed, because sometimes it bothers me where I can sit here and I can read this chapter 3 times faster. And I'm like, why am I listening to an audiobook? And it's because I can crochet at the same time, but whatever. I'm glad that I can speed it up now. So I'm going to stop rambling at you. I'm going to get to doing things and cleaning things up and getting ready to sit down at 8:30 and read and work on my crocheting. So I will be back to update you maybe if something crazy happens. Otherwise, I'll just try to update you once I've read like another at least 5%, if not more. So have a great hump day, and I will see you soon. Hello, welcome back. Mostly to myself because it's been like seconds for you. It is Friday. Happy Friday. I just got done filming my final clip for my weekly vlog, and I was like, I should do an update since I have my tripod and everything all set up. So, as for Manacled, I have made some progress. I am currently on chapter 51, which is a flashback chapter 26, I believe. Let me see what it says. Yeah, flashback chapter 26. So according to my ebook, I'm 55% of the way through. So I did get through another 10% yesterday. I finished yesterday at 50%, and then I was able to listen to a couple chapters today at work, and then I did listen to one or two tonight once I got home and, you know, was doing things around the house kind of situations. So I'm pretty intrigued by where this is going. I knew that for how well beloved Manacled is, I kind of figured that, you know, there would be some sort of turnaround. I wasn't sure how long it'd take for us to kind of see a different side of Draco or really kind of understand Draco's situation leading into where we are present day in the fic. And it was less than that first flashback chapter. I was like, okay, I see what we're doing. Okay. And I'm kind of here for it. What is hard and kind of hurts my soul a little bit is really seeing the breakdown of the friendship between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. It just hurts my heart a little bit because those three were like the three best friends that could get through anything together. And even when they had fights and, you know, weren't 100% copacetic with each other, as all relationships do. They have their ups and downs. You know, they really just wanted the best for each other and really loved each other deeply. And I just, it hurts my heart a little bit to see. And I know war is hard and there's a lot going on, and you know, they're seeing different sides of the war. I mean, Hermione is in the hospitals and she's dealing with all of the death and injuries, and she's not necessarily seeing the more hopeful aspects of what might happen in these battles. She's just kind of stuck with, you know, just seeing all the bad parts. And you know, she's trying to convince them to maybe, you know, be willing to kill these people who are trying to kill them, which, you know, is a valid point. I mean, I understand, but you know, she may be pushing a little too hard to go into some of this dark magic, but at the same time, I can understand when you're just trying to disarm people who are trying to kill you, you're not going to get far. You're just not. And so I definitely understand her reasoning and what's kind of going on with the situation. It's just sad that she's losing her friends and she's kind of being isolated, and because she is so focused on being a healer, she's not really with them on the front anymore, and she's not going on missions with them, and she's really kind of been forced to become separated from them. I mean, and she's an amazing healer, but there is a moment that really had me in my feels at work today where she talks with Harry, or she's thinking to herself, or she's talking with Ginny. Maybe not she was talking to Harry. Maybe she was just thinking to herself. But she was talking about how, Ginny was injured and came into the hospital, and Harry wants to say, I hope after the war things will go back to normal, and he wants to know that they'll still be friends. And she's just like, you never visit me. The only time you're in the hospital is when you're visiting somebody injured. You won't ever come and see me. And, Harry basically called her a bee, or Ron called her a bee, and Harry then patted him on the shoulder, and everyone's been calling her a bee. And the entire time, everyone is coming down on her. Nobody knows except for Mad-Eye Moody and Snape. But Hermione has basically given up any prospect of her present and her future to enter into this agreement with Draco because that's what he wanted. He wanted her, and then he would spy for the Order. And she's giving up her life. And she's selling herself basically to Draco. And, and she's getting this information for the Order. And it's great that they're getting this information from but they aren't questioning where this information is coming from. And the fact that they're treating so horribly about, there's more hope in the Order now, because they are managing to complete some of these missions successfully. And they're getting down more on her, and she's like, but we're not actually winning. Things are looking more hopeful, but the things that are happening are things that, Draco is allowing us to kind of do and making room for us to do. And she's just like, nobody knows. Nobody knows how they got that information, and they're not questioning how they're getting that information. And just that even isolates Hermione even more, because she can't talk about it. And, they aren't able to appreciate the sacrifices that she's going through. Not that she wants them to, that's more on me, my heart is going out to Hermione so much, because it's that thing where when you're doing something for somebody behind the scenes, and they either don't realize it, or they don't know that it's happening, or they don't put two and two together, that doing this thing is like you sacrificing something of yourself to do these things to prop this other person up, so to speak, and then turn around and not, number one, not be treated fairly, or, still be friends with people. I don't know. I feel like I'm flipping my words, but it really just, it gets me in my feels. And, Hermione, and she's attaching to Draco because he's the only one who's giving her attention, but even he's using her, and I'm just like, Hermione, my baby. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. I'll be a little bit sad when I catch up. Like I said, I'm on chapter 51. And the audiobook version on Spotify only goes to chapter 56. So then I will have to switch over to ebook, but I'll get through it quicker. I just won't be able to be doing other things while I'm listening to it. So I know there's a couple other fics that are available on Spotify that I have saved. None of them were on my TBR for this round, but depending on how long they are, maybe I'll look at picking one of those up and going hog wild. But my goal is still to finish Manacled. So my plan is for the rest of tonight, if I decide not to be sad and stream Taylor Swift's concert in Denver tonight, because, I tried again last night, Thursday night, the queues for Denver opened once again, and I was in the queue, and once again, did not get tickets. So, and yeah, I don't have the funds to buy these scalper tickets. That's just ridiculous. So it's it just sucks because I've never been able to go to one of her concerts, and this was one of the times where it looks like I might have been able to go had Ticketmaster not been just utterly horrendous once again. But I might stream the Taylor Swift concert and be sad that she's only like an hour away from me and I'm not there. Although if we would have gone on Saturday night. So maybe I'll just stream it tomorrow night and not worry about it tonight. But I might just torture myself and be sad. But anyway, my goal is tonight to finish the last 6 chapters of the audiobook. And then we'll see how late it is. It is just about 7 o'clock. It's just before 7 o'clock. However, in crocheting news, I will switch over here and show you. I have finished both squares of the sweater. So there's the one, which I already showed you. And now I have 2. So I have both squares done. And then it was kind of late, but I was like, I'll start it anyway. Last night, I did start one of the sleeves. So I got through the normal portion, and now we're starting the long bell sleeves. So I'm on row, let me look at my little row counter here. Row 33, according to this. These are great. If you are a knitter or a crocheter, I highly recommend that little thing. I just threw it under my coffee table. It just fits on your finger. I wear it on my pointer finger, and then every time I do a row and flip it and like turn my work, I can hit the button and it counts the row for me. I highly recommend this if you aren't using something similar to that and you struggle with keeping track of your rows. I also obsessively double check my rows every once in a while, just to kind of make sure that I'm not missing ones. But I think the end portion is at 45, so I've only got like 12 rows left, so that's great. So then I should be able to, I think, get the other sleeve at the very least started tonight, if not finished, because the sleeves go so much quicker. But once I finish the other sleeve, I just have to sew it together, so that's pretty exciting. So I definitely will be able to, at the very least this weekend, get the sweater finished. So I'm pretty excited about that. So we'll see if I can finish Manacled in time. But at the very least, one of my goals is to get through as much get through Manacled as much as I could, if not finish, and finish a sweater. And it looks like at least one of those things. I mean, technically both of them will be, but I'll be finishing the audiobook tonight. So I might film a clip once I finish the audiobook before I go into the ebook, just kind of touch base where I'm at. Or I might wait until the end of this section, and then I'm assuming we go back to like the present day situation. I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty excited to see where this goes and what kind of happens, because we still have some tension and some kind of antagonism between Hermione and Draco, but Hermione is definitely starting to connect with him, because I think partially because he feels like the only person who really sees her as she is now and is willing to like talk with her. And I mean, sometimes he talks with her, but I don't know. I just, it feels a little bit like she's latching onto him because he's like the only person who she really can latch onto right now. Plus we have Mad Eye Moody and Kingsley making some weird decisions. And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not remembering who this Kingsley person is. So I might have to check the Harry Potter fan, like, Wikipedia or something, because I don't remember who Kingsley is. All I know is he's a high up order member. So whether he was a minor person in the books or not, I don't remember Kingsley. Or maybe that's just because they keep calling him Kingsley, which is his last name, and I know him by his first name, and I'm not putting it together who it is. But I'll also probably do that. Look up who this Kingsley person is. But yeah, so far so good. And I definitely feel like I'm getting through it quicker this time, but I don't know if that's because I have been able to put it on like 1.5 speed on Spotify. I think it's definitely helped because the narrators are a little bit of slower talkers, which is fine. I mean, this is a free audio basically. But I think I don't know, or because I'm more into the story and I don't need as much like world building and like setting things up, that I'm getting through it quicker. Or because we're kind of set in the past, and so it's closer to what I know the normal Harry Potter world as, even though they're in war. It's still somewhat similar to the world building that we already had established versus all new world building in the beginning, if that makes sense. But I don't know. I find I'm intrigued. I'm definitely interested to see kind of how things flip around, especially once we get back in the present day. But right now it's probably sitting at like a 4-star for me. But we shall see. So I will stop blabbering at you. I'm going to get my stuff kind of cleared up, make some space, get comfy, and start crocheting and finish these last 6 chapters of the audiobook. And then I will be back to update you. Hello. So it is almost 10:30. And I just finished the audiobook portion of Manacled. Oh my gosh. So, Hermione and like Draco are like together. Like they're it. And it's just really sweet. So I'm on flashback 32. I am 64% of the way through Manacled. So, yeah, I think, I don't know. I want to take a shower and then go to bed, but I might just wait and take a shower in the morning. But I'm all sweaty and gross, so it's just from the hot weather. So I might just take a shower. And then I'm going to switch to ebook now for Manacled, which is bonkers that's how I'm reading it now. I did see that there were a couple other fics that popped up as a recommendation when I finished it. One of them, something in apple pies, which I remember, I think Tiffany read it during the last FanFiction Readathon. And that one, it looked like most of the chapter files were like 10 to 20 minutes long, and it was only 29 chapters. So I might pick that up in audiobook because I ended up not crocheting. I got a couple diamond paintings on Amazon Prime Day earlier this week, and then I had one diamond painting that I got for Christmas that I never got into my Gems Flow app, and I never went through it and made sure I had all of the colors I was supposed to and that everything looked fine. So I did those, and I still have one more diamond painting that's supposed to come, but I was doing that instead. And then I made dinner, and then I took a break and I watched an episode of Dead Files because the new series started, and that's one of my favorite shows. And then I went back to Manacled, and I'm listening to it, and it just all of a sudden stopped, and I was like, wait, is that the end? Have we reached the end of the audiobook? So that was kind of sad, but yeah. I feel like not very much has happened story-wise outside of Hermione and Draco really kind of coming to terms and admitting their feelings for each other, and really just kind of carving out that time for them to be together and have it be in a situation where, they have more freedom in the choice of being together, if that makes sense. And they're both like making plans, and he wants to get her out of the order, and they're like, when this war is over, we're gonna escape from each other. And I just seeing Draco in this moment, in this whole flashback scene, but really in these last couple moments where we're at, and then knowing where we were the entire first portion of the book, I mean, he better just have his occlumency, like, solid. But Hermione doesn't have her memory, so she doesn't realize that she's fallen in love with him. They haven't said it, but I mean, it's there. It's there. You can tell. It's very close to, like, full-on love. So, I don't know. I'm enjoying this. And I'm not typically a big fan of this pairing. Like, it's fine. I understand why people put them together. It's just not one that I gravitate towards. But like I mentioned, maybe in my TBR, maybe earlier in this video, I don't know. I've talked about it before, but like my favorite Harry Potter universe pairing is a Slytherin and a Hufflepuff. That encapsulates to me like Grumpy Sunshine in Harry Potter. So that is the type of pairings that I typically go towards. Sometimes I feel like a long time ago I used to read just like OCs, original characters. And so it'd be, they might have vibes of some characters that we know, but it was all original characters just set in the Harry Potter world. So I don't know. I might get sucked down the Harry Potter rabbit hole because this is really kind of clicking and working for me right now. But I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get ready to... I think I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to take a shower. I feel sweaty and gross, and it's fine. But yeah. And then I will pick up Manacled on my Kindle, which is bonkers. Also, I don't know if you know, but I have a Hufflepuff pop socket. Because I am a Hufflepuff. Hello, happy Saturday. It is about 3:45 Saturday. And I just realized I have music playing on in the background still. Let me pause that. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm in the dark. I have my, those things, fairy lights or whatever on. Just for some ambiance, I'm listening to Peaceful Day at Hogwarts. I will link it for you if you would like to listen to it. But I just finished part 2 of Manacled. Part 2 is done. The flashback is done. Then... Oh, hello. Hi. Hi. Can I help you? Mm-hmm. Here she comes. Yeah. Are you going to come all the way? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, yep. All the way up. Hello. Hi. Can I help you? Apparently, I just started making noise, so she had to wake up from her nap. So, this is what we're doing now, I guess. So, I finished part 2, and then there was a note at the beginning of the last flashback chapter that Sunlin Yu did like a little summary of like the first 25 chapters. So everything before the flashback. So I read that, and that was like 28 pages long. So when I do my final page count for Manacled, I will add that in. Wow. I can see nothing but gray fur now. Wait. You're kind of in the way, little miss. All right, lay down at least for me, please. Thank you. So, yeah. And great. Yep, that's a butt on my face. So, reading those last couple chapters with like the resistance ending, so to speak, and Hermione getting captured and seeing what caused her to blow up Sussex. Holy crap. Holy crap. She did it to save Draco. So that he wouldn't be exposed as one of the spies. And then I'm so grateful for that summary, especially because it has been several months since I read the first 20%. So there were definitely some little nuances that I forgot. So I am excited to dive in. So this is 75% of the way through. So we'll see. I am definitely going to be able to finish it for sure. I was like, I'll definitely be able to finish my sweater. But now that I'm reading ebook wise, I don't know if I will finish the sweater. But at least I should be able to in the next couple of days. I'm going to take a break. I was doing a reading sprint for the little cafe readathon that's been going all month. But I'm going to take a break. And I need to do a little bit of editing for my video that's supposed to go up tomorrow on Sunday. And then there's another reading sprint, I think at like 6 o'clock my time tonight. So I'm going to do that. And we'll see. I don't even know if I can reach my Kindle now that there is a cat on my face. I'm going to see what my Kindle says. I have timing-wise left. So this says it'll be about 4 hours to finish it. Hi. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited to finish it. I'm sorry this is all wibbly wobbly. As you can tell, I'm relaxing on the couch with a cat who was in my lap. She's no longer in my lap. All right. We will see you later. Hello. Happy Sunday. It is about 12:30 Sunday afternoon now. So haven't read much this morning, but I did stay up super late last night and I did finish the normal part of Manacled. There's 3 epilogues and my Kindle says they're all about 20 minutes long. So I have about an hour left in Manacled with the epilogues. I have at 1 o'clock another reading sprint with the little cafe readathon today, so I plan on finishing it during that because it's a 2-hour reading sprint. So it's just the end is just around the corner. I would have finished it last night, but it was like after 2 o'clock in the morning. It was almost 3 o'clock in the morning, if I'm being honest, and I literally could not keep my eyes open anymore. So the main story is over. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous about what was going to happen. I wasn't sure how they were going to get out. And then if the plan would work, if there would be another thing that happened that just kind of brought our characters down, because so much happens to them and there's so much like twists or things don't go right. I was really nervous I knew because so many romance readers have read this, it would have an HEA, but I didn't know if the HEA was going to come in the epilogue. And people were talking about it during the sprinting yesterday about how they were like, I was so sad. It was so bittersweet. And I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm jaded, but I didn't find it that bittersweet. But maybe I have to get through the epilogue first. I mean, I guess if you consider that still everybody died and the only people left alive are Jenny and Hermione that were part of the order, then I guess that's bittersweet. But I don't know. I definitely got angsty. I definitely cried because there was a lot of angst and, they both just want to sacrifice themselves for each other so much. And I was just like, oh my gosh, guys, please stop. Please stop. You're just hurting yourselves at this point. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was a little over on the angst for me. So right now it's sitting at like a 4.5 stars as a final rating. We'll see if the epilogues change that. I usually try not to let epilogues affect it, but since there's so long of epilogues and there's 3 of them, it might affect my rating. It might not. Who knows? But I wanted to do an update because I can say I have finished the main story of Manacled, which is great. I haven't done any crocheting today. I do plan on not picking up any more fanfics after this, because I just don't think, even if I picked up a one shot, I think I need a break, because all I've read this week is Manacled, and I think I'm gonna find some fluffy contemporary romance or like a rom-com-y paranormal audiobook that I can listen to, because I did something a little bit more happier in my life right now. And then I'll work on crocheting that. So I might not get the sweater done. We'll see how busy and what I end up doing later today. But I wanted to film an update before I jumped into the epilogues. I was so nervous, especially with Hermione's brain. I was really expecting, like, once they escaped, so to speak, for something else to kind of happen and cause issues with Hermione's brain, and have it be like, I don't know, I was kind of expecting it to be that Hermione dies, but they're able to, like, stasis her or something, or put her in a medical-induced coma to bring the baby to as full term as possible. And then Draco would have his little daughter, and Ginny would have James. And then I knew, like, Draco and Ginny wouldn't be together, but they, like, raise their babies together in solidarity, teaching them all about their dead parents. And I was just like, this is where my brain was taking it, even though I knew it had an HEA. So that's, like, the level of angst that was for me, is, like, I was expecting Hermione to die once they got away, so to speak. So I'm gonna get back to doing chores for the next, like, half-ish hour before I sit down and do some reading. But I was sitting down, I was doing some reviews on Amazon for, like, the diamond paintings that I got on Prime Day. So I always try to make sure I take, like, nice pictures, and I was taking them in here with my big window and working on things and that. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that, and I will see you once I have officially finished Manacled. Hello, same spot still. I'm sitting in my chair by the big window in my bedroom, but I pulled the blinds back, but I have my curtains still closed. But we're under a heat advisory for today and tomorrow, because it's supposed to be like high 90s, if not 100 degrees, and I'm not ready for it. I am not ready for it, but I have my fan on, so hopefully you can't hear it. I just finished Manacled. Wow, those epilogues had a lot in them. I was a little surprised about how much was there. We have the birth of their daughter, Aurora, and it seems like there's a romance being set up between James and Aurora, which is super cute. And we kind of get her growing up a little bit, and just Hermione and Draco dealing with that. We get Hermione making Draco's prosthetic, and that was really interesting. And the way it ended, that last little bit definitely was bittersweet as all get out. That last little blurb. But at the same time, you know, it's what Hermione and Draco want. But it just was a little bit sad that I get the bittersweetness now. I get the bittersweetness. So it just, I think I would have wanted more happiness at the end for my angst meter, angst to happiness. I mean, I knew it was gonna be rough going in, but wow, I I kind of want a spin-off. Oh my gosh, of Aurora and James. Or even just like a one-shot. Like, it doesn't need to be a billion pages long. But I definitely want to see if there's an Aurora James like extended epilogue story, whatever. Probably not, because I haven't heard it talked about. But maybe they don't talk about it because it kind of spoils things. I don't know. But I think I have to give it 5 stars. I think I have to give it 5 stars. The epilogues really just popped it up for me, that last half star. So yeah, there's it. There's my fanfiction readathon. I finished Manacled. I have finally finished Manacled. And what's fun is I can say I read it during the fanfiction readathon. It took 2 readathons to do it, but I've only read Manacled during the fanfiction readathon. So that's fun. As for my bingo board, it covers Broken Screen, host recommendation, and then the 300k supernova. So that gives me an L. So I technically have 2 bingos, and then I have the other corner, which is host recommendation. But you know, I wasn't aiming for a blackout. My goal was Manacled, and that was pretty much it. So this wraps up my, let's be honest, this is my Manacled reading vlog. So I definitely have enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll see. I might look into some more Dramoni pairing stuff. Like I mentioned, it's not my typical go-to pairing for Harry Potter, but I know it's a very popular one, so we'll see. I know that there's a lot of recs out there, but definitely leave me any recs down below if you're interested, or if you have read or haven't read Manacled, let me know. If you'd like to leave me an emoji, leave me something that's gray colored for the cover. Plus, gray is also my favorite color, so you know, hey. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm just in my emotions right now. I'm just in my emotions. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.